Okay, so hi everybody. Tonight we're going to do what I'm going to call directed painting, and it's actually an idea that Elizabeth brought to the group. And so what I did is I created sort of like a plan for 4 paintings. So if you have 4 pieces of paper, that's great. I'm going to show you some of the different things that I use. So I also brought a canvas board. It's shiny because it still has this plastic on it, but you could use a canvas board. I said for everybody to have a piece of 8 by 10 paper or whatever. The reason why I chose that is because when we're done these, I want to go through a session on how to frame them. So I wanted to have something standard so that if you wanted to go and buy a frame at like a really inexpensive art store, you could go get something that it would just pop into. Okay. So I just used some art paper that I pulled together. So I have 4 pieces of that, but I wanted to show you something else that's kind of goofy and funny. You can also, and I've done this before where I've painted on a little piece of canvas that isn't stretched on a stretcher. And I think it's okay when you're working with something this small, but I want to show you, we had a tenant at one point was making a playroom for some kids in the basement, and she used printed canvas to make the place a little bit more playful. And when she moved out, she left the canvas behind, and I asked her if she wanted, she said no. So I've been holding on to it for years, and this is the printed canvas. Now it's very light because I've put a layer of gesso on it on both sides, but I've actually done paintings on this. And so some people, when they see my paintings, they might see a little shadow of flowers behind it because, you know, to me, it's just fine canvas. And when I'm doing things this small, it doesn't need to be stretched. I can treat it just like a piece of paper. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you that kind of fun little thing. So printed canvas, you just never know what's going to be inside a painting when you start with it. So I did have a lot of supplies that I said you could bring to this session. And I just went through my little drawer of goofy, weird, different art materials and thought, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. And if you don't have all these art materials, that's okay. You can substitute, or, you know, it's really just, we're just going to wing it a little bit. And I haven't done this before, so I didn't even do a trial one before tonight. So what I'm painting is what I'm painting. So it's out of my control. So, all right, we're going to switch this down now to the bottom view. I'm just going to see if I can do it myself, because next week Bill can't help me. So he's training me to do it. Oh, I don't want to do it here, right?
Yes, no, you're in the, actually, no, you're right. Go to
where?
screen share.
Oh, screen share. Okay, I'm going to go over here. And
we're under advanced already. Yep, and there you go.
Okay, I'm switching it to
bottom right.
Okay, there we go.
Oh my God, you're so good.
Oh
at
my
this.
goodness.
You don't even need me by.
Okay, yeah. It's going to get to a point where I don't even need them anymore. Maybe.
No.
How could that be?
Unless there's heavy stuff or stuff up high.
Okay, so part of the reason that I chose to do 4 is because when we do like one sort of brush mark on one, we can set it aside and give it a little bit of time to breathe or dry while we're working on the next one. So what you're going to do is, okay, grab your first 8 by 10 piece of paper, and you're going to need some paint. And I said in this first one, I want you to use 3 colors of paint, and it doesn't matter what kind of paint you use. You could be using acrylic paint. You could be using watercolor if you'd like. Probably not oil, because I don't do a lot with oil. But if you have 3 colors, all right. Okay, so what you're going to do is choose one brush, and you're going to do 3 strokes. 3 strokes, 3 different colors, 3 strokes. Okay, so choose one of your colors and I'm going to add a bit of water to mine because this one's a bit gooey. And I'm just going to do a stroke. There's one. Woo. Okay, then I'm going to do another stroke with another color. Now, the stroke doesn't have to be that fast, right? You could make a long sort of like that could be one stroke. I'm not lifting, I'm just making it into one stroke. So very abstract. I'm going to use my little thing just to clean my brush a bit. Okay, third color. Just do another stroke. That's all I did. Okay, 3 strokes. Okay. Now take this one and you're just going to set it aside. I'll try not to get paint on Bill's computer. That would be a good idea. And we're going to start the second one. And give that one a little bit of chance to sort of dry a bit. Okay, so the second one, we're also going to do 3 strokes. But I want you to use 2 primary colors if you have them. So I've got a yellow and a blue and one other color. I'm going to use a different yellow because I can't get it open. Just because I want it to be a little bit more primary. Of course, all my colors are not quite primary because they have a little bit extra color in them.
Could you remind me what the primary colors are, please?
Oh, yes.
Is that
Primary
Roy
is-
G. Biv?
Blue, yellow, and red. So choose 2 of those and then some other color.
You're really challenging me for space here now. Blue, I'm sorry, blue, red, and what? Yellow?
Yellow, yeah, those are the 3 primaries. So to choose 2 of them and one other color. Now you could use a 3rd primary if you want, because it's your painting. So I'm going to use my other color first because I have this really old paint here that, sometimes the paint gets so old, it's really chunky and almost like a gel. I need to.
Yeah, I hate that.
I know. I need to use this stuff up. It wasn't even mine to begin with. Okay. So this one, I'm going to do 3 strokes. That's 1 stroke. I didn't lift. And then I'm going to add.
3 strokes with 1 primary color. Is that what you did?
I did. This is 1 stroke. I didn't lift my brush. That's 1 stroke with my other color. Now I'm going to put a primary color in. 1 stroke. And then my last primary. I'm going to use that blue again. So I've done 2 primaries and another color, and I'm going to set this aside. Oops. And grab another piece of paper. Okay, now with this one, you get to paint 4 colors. So 4 strokes of some sort. So there's 1. There's 2. I need to clean my brush again. Are you guys on your 3rd ones too?
No,
Yeah,
Or am I going just so fast?
you're going very fast.
I am going very fast. That's how I start my paintings, is I just go fast. And then I'm going to add that. Got a big blob on it.
I'm not sure how this is different than the last one, except it doesn't necessarily require primary colors.
That's right. Well, they might all start looking the same, but we're going to do something else with this one. Okay. So once you've done those, one of the other things I asked you to bring was water and a rag or a spray bottle. So I usually use a spray bottle. So I'm going to do something different and I'm going to use a rag on this one. So I'm going to dip my cloth into the water and I'm going to just kind of pull this color around a little bit. I'm going to make sure that I have color on every part of my paper. So I'm covering up all the white. And who knows, I might end up with a horrible mess at the end of the day. But it's more about just moving the colors a bit. So that's
Okay, so if we're using a spray bottle for this part, we're just doing that still with a rag?
well, you could. I wanted to try the rag because I want to smoosh the colors, but also a spray bottle will let those, colors move a little bit. You could also spray it and then let it drip.
What kind of paint are you using, Karen?
I'm using acrylic paint.
Well, you have a distinct advantage over me in that my dispense, I don't have the big tubs of them and I can't dip a paintbrush, so.
Yeah, I know. I love the tubs of paint. It's just, it helps me just get the paint so quickly, right? I don't have to squeeze out a bunch. I guess that's part of the reason I go so fast.
Well,
Hey,
it's-
I have this cloth feather. Can I move the paint around with that?
Yes? I love this. I
Uh-oh.
got this one clump of orange right in the middle, and it's just like, it's so chunky. I just want to leave it there.
the king of brown is back at work.
Oh, yeah. Brown is it starts to happen sometimes when you're mixing colors. I'm gonna move this guy out of the way. This is just my cleaning sheet. I'm using this piece of canvas that I showed you earlier, just to clean my brush. So if you're using spray paint, you can just, or spray bottle, you can do this and just kind of move it around if you want. I find that sometimes when I spray the paint after I've painted a little bit, it just makes those lines a little bit softer. Now, the other thing you can do, and I brought something to scrape with, like a credit card. You could use a ruler. You could use the back of your paintbrush, but you can scrape into your work.
Are you on your third or your fourth piece of artwork now, Karen?
Well, I kind of just sort of went into the one that that I was cleaning my brush on. So I'm not really just on my third.
Okay.
So if I take my third one, I can take this and scrape into some of the paint that's still wet.
Well, that might be easier, better on one of my earlier ones where I have more paint. My third one is pretty smudged out and I haven't got really any residual paint on it.
Well, and you could do that. Okay, the fourth one, what did I say? Well, the fourth one, you can do the scraper also, I said. So the fourth one, it's 4 colors. And you're going to use the scraper. Oh, I lifted my thing and then I put it back down again.
So this fourth one is what, 4 colors?
Yeah,
Does it have to be primary or anything like that?
no, I'm not making any rules on this one. You just do what you want. I'm actually doing more than 4 strokes too. I completely just went off track, but that's okay. Then I'm going to use the scraper. You know, one of the things I love doing with the credit cards is sometimes I'll actually put paint on them like this, and then I can pull that across my piece. And that's how I started getting painting, was I did a lot of this.
Oh, cool.
What?
Well, I put some yellow down with the brush and then I put some blue on my scraper and scraped it across, and I just like some of the yellow stayed there and the blue jumped over it and some of it mixed, and it just made a really neat effect.
Yeah, the scraping is just so much fun. Okay, I'm using the rag again because I want to get rid of the bits of white that I have, because I don't really want them.
I need a bigger studio, Karen.
I know.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
you're
it be fun
definitely,
to just
definitely
come?
challenging me for space today.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know. Okay, well, I've made a mess of that one, so that's great. I'm gonna throw it down there. Okay. Where are we at? Clean off that. Yeah, you're gonna end up with like bits of paintings all over your house,
Now you'll know what it feels like.
and you'll know what it feels like. Okay,
Oh, man.
you know, I was gonna get you actually to number your paintings 1 to 4, so we knew which one we were working on.
We're still on 4.
Well, I just put my 4 down there to dry, so I'm gonna pick up number 1 again. I don't think it's dry, but oh, it's fairly dry. All right. Okay, so what I wanted to do on this was I wanted to do a pencil crayon mark. And all my pencil crayons are at work. Because well, not all of them, I guess, but the ones, well, I guess I got those ones over there too. I wanted to also show you these. These, I love these things. These are called Prismacolor art sticks. And what they are is they're like a pencil crayon in a stick form. So
Oh, yeah, I think I might have some of, well, something similar.
similar,
A
yeah.
few of them, like a set of 8 or something, I think I've got.
Yeah, I quite like them because you can use them as a pencil crayon, but what I really like about them is I can use them on their sides. So let me see if I can do it nice here. I can just, you know, create this sort of interesting sort of pattern with it, or, you know, color with the edge.
Which one, are you on 1 again now?
I'm on 1 again.
My one is really wet.
Is it?
I might have to turn the mute on and get my hair dryer out.
That happens too.
No, I don't have anything like that.
Okay, but you can also use a pencil crayon. I'm just gonna go grab that big bunch of pencil crayons I have here.
All I have are colored pencils. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
so that's okay, because you can just take a pencil crayon too, and you can just go in and make a mark, like even. Pulling up some of my paint too.
Okay,
Like even just,
ruining my colored pencils, but other than that,
oh, you're not ruining them. You're just using them in a different way. Putting a little paint on them.
they'll need to be resharpened.
So I did pencil lines. Oh, I said pencil crayon, only 2 marks, but I did 3. Because you know what? You can't just do 2. You always have to do 3. My mind just always wants to do that. So I brought a whole bunch of different things to use for these too. I also brought these. These are Aquarelle pencil crayons. So these are the kind that you can add water to, and they're like a watercolor pencil crayon. They're kind of interesting. I just thought I could bring some of these things to you guys and you could see all the different types of things. This is just a cheap set of watercolors that I use sometimes when I'm making my cards. I also brought pastels. And these are chalk pastels. And I have oil pastels somewhere. Maybe I didn't bring them. Oh, I brought this. I found this in my drawer. It's an oil-based paint for artists and stencilers. It's an artist paint crayon. I mean, sometimes I just have to pull these things out and try what they are. So if you're working on your first one and you have if you're able to do your pencil crayon marks, I was thinking we could do also a crayon or a pastel, a crayon or a pastel. Now, if you don't have either of those, you could just do another mark with a pencil crayon, but try and do a different mark. Like there's no reason why you can't take your pencil crayon that you have and use it in a different way, like on its side. You can create, I'll just turn this over. You can create like a fat line. It doesn't have to be sharp. You could just do something interesting like that. So I just did a pastel mark on mine. I think I need it to go up this way though. And I broke my pastel. There we go. And then I thought you could use like some pen or some ink or something like that. So I was going to use a drawing pen. That doesn't look like a very good one.
I'm busy here experimenting with what kind of marks I can make with my headphone cords dragging through.
Those unintentional marks. Well, that's just another thing, right?
Oh, it's a thing.
So, I mean, once you're doing these kind of things, like, I don't know, Elizabeth, in the class that you were taking and they were doing this directed sort of painting, stuff like that. Did they, once you did those things that you had to do, were you given sort of the freedom to go back in and work those things all together if they weren't?
Yeah, you could do whatever you wanted. Like you could just leave them as they were, or you could, oh no, I'm like up to my elbows in paint. I think I'm gonna need to stand up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you could go back and work into them, which I did. I did all four that I did. I went back and worked into them.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun.
Well, Karen, you've reverted me back to kindergarten.
Well, that's where we want to be.
That's when we were most creative.
That's right. Kindergarten was a good time.
I actually like number 2 and number 4.
Yeah.
Number 1 is kind of wrecked, but
But
I
you can
started,
still do other things to it. Oops.
well, not a good idea to set fire to my work in my house, but that would
No.
be, that would be the next step on this one. I'm not really willing to share this one, but I'll share 2 and 4 eventually.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, I'm just sort of working through my first one still. I'm trying to make it a little bit different, I guess. There's things on it that I don't like, so I need to get rid of this.
amen to that, sister.
Yeah. I didn't like that big white spot in the middle of mine, so. But I do like the pastel on it. It's kind of nice. It's kind of chunky and gritty.
Yeah, this one's definitely destined for the junk heap.
What happens if you cut it in half? Does it change the look of it?
I have 2 pieces of junk then. I'll be patient and wait until we get back to 2 or 4, because those are worth doing.
Okay, well, I'm gonna set number 1 aside, because I've done a little bit on it. Okay, number 2. No, that's not number 2. This is number 2. Okay, number 2. Oh, we were gonna collage an item onto it. So I don't know what you guys have for collage stuff.
I have
grabbed.
number 1.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just grabbing a pair of scissors here. I grabbed some of my papers, some of my previously painted papers and stuff like that, and I thought that would be a nice sort of collage item to use. So I think just need to figure out where I want to put it. Maybe you're just right there, right in the middle. Yeah, right in the middle. Okay. So I'm using my gloss gel. Now this one's still a bit wet, so I'm probably gonna pull some of the paint off of my piece and get it on this piece that I'm collaging on here, just because it's still a bit wet. But I'll try to be careful not to do too much of that. At least if I get it sort of stuck down, I can get it better stuck later after. I think my blue is still quite wet, so I don't want to pull the blue onto the collage piece. So do you guys have something you can put on there?
Well, I just made something.
You made from number one?
No, from a prior piece of artwork.
Okay. Well, and that's, you know, what you can do, right? Is just take those bits and pieces, even if they're sort of like a catastrophe that you're gonna burn or whatever.
Actually, it was a finished piece, but I didn't have anything else, so
Oh,
it'll work.
it'll work.
Oops, try not to make too much of a mess.
Are we like, do we have a number of collage pieces that we're putting on here?
This one I was gonna put 2 pieces of collage on.
Side.
So yeah, I'm just gonna do.
Oh, yeah,
It's so wet still.
I like that.
The Mod Podge is causing my paint to smear.
Yeah,
My-
you have to be really careful because yeah, my paint is really
I didn't realize that.
it's quite wet in places. So that's the hard thing about, you know, doing something like this live where you want to keep going and you don't have enough time to let things dry properly. You have to sort of put up with smearing and smudging and stuff.
All right, we're doing a second collage.
Yeah, I did 2 pieces on this.
I'm using a piece of lace.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, we don't know that yet, but maybe,
Maybe.
maybe it might be nice. Oh, boy. Maybe it won't glue on.
Then the other thing I wanted to do on this one is with the collage is use your scraper to make another mark. And so I'm actually going to put some paint on my scraper on my credit card. And I'm just going to do. That didn't work as well as I wanted it to. Pull that line right up. Just wanted to do a couple of lines on this one. What else? Again, on this one, I suggested using a crayon or a pastel. I kind of want to see what this red thing does.
What are you doing now? I'm sorry. You put more paint on something?
I put on number 2, I used my scraper to make a mark on this. So I did straight lines with the edge of my Visa card. The edge of my Visa, my fake
But
Visa.
you added, did you put paint on the scraper?
Yeah, because the paint's mostly dry, so I had to do something to. Well, that doesn't do anything. Don't like that. So I also have these weird things. I think I bought them years ago for the girls to use. They're called gel markers. And they're like, I don't know what they're like. They're the weirdest things. They're like lipstick for your painting. That's all I can describe it as. And they're just.
What do you
kind of-
draw? What are you painting on there, Karen? Is that your collage edition?
Yeah. I just put a piece of purple on it, which I don't really like. So I'll just do more. If worse comes to worse, you just take your cloth. I'm gonna just rub it. It is, it's just like lipstick for your painting. That's weird stuff. All right, where am I at with this one? Okay. And you can set that one aside. Okay, now we're on number 3. Okay, so then I asked you to do one collage item that's commercial. So did you guys understand what I meant by that?
No.
Okay.
Like this Good Life Fitness thing.
Yes, or like a piece of scrapbooking paper, or maybe some text out of a book or a newspaper.
Oh, I
About
got-
wrapping paper.
Wrapping paper would work. A label off of something.
Oh, I don't like that color.
I got something. But I gotta finish my line on number 2 here. It really stretched me to the limits.
I am.
Mrs. Biko.
Well, you know, I thought I stretched you to the limits by making you do a 30 piece of origami, and look what you did with that. Just came sailing through that like nothing.
Well, like I said, I needed training wheels, extra help. Right.
Totally impressed with that. Okay. Oh, okay.
Someone gave me a book called The Old Lady Who Broke All the Rules.
Yeah.
And it seems like a really good thing to tear up and do collage with.
Excellent.
So we're on 3 now, and what is it we're gonna do?
You're going to add a piece of commercial collage to it.
Is the shape matter or we have?
Nope, whatever you
latitude?
want,
Okay, that's 2.
whatever works with your
Oh,
design.
Are we gonna get to 4 at some point?
Yep.
Okay. Cause 3, my 3 is kind of ugly.
Mine are all ugly. Don't worry.
Yeah, they're all ugly right now, so don't worry about it.
Well, if that's the goal, I'm champion.
There you go.
Sure. Well, I don't know. I think I'm right there with you there. They're
Yeah.
ugly, but they all have potential.
I may not be the champion, but I'm definitely the king of brown.
You know, sometimes like the kind of paint that you're using does matter, right? When I was doing live painting for a charity one time, they provided the paint, and they went to the dollar store and they bought the paint at the dollar store. And I was painting away using their paint. I brought my own brushes because I'm very particular about my brushes. And I did my spray paint thing, or my spray with the water, and all the paint turned to gray. It turned like mud. It was
Oh.
gross. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not what the paint that I use does. So I was a little bit perturbed,
A little bit perturbed.
a little bit perturbed. So the next year I said, no, I'll bring my own paint. I'm not using your paint.
Okay. Back to Mod Podge, which means I gotta get the thing out of the sink.
Yep. And then on this one again, you can use pencil crayon. Which is hard to do when it's still kind of wet.
Mine is soaking because I sprayed it.
Yeah.
Are you still adding your commercial piece, Karen, or are you somewhere
No.
else?
I did add my commercial pieces. It's these 3 little pieces of scrapbooking paper. And you can see they're sticking off, but I'll cut those off later.
Are
Right
there-
now I'm working on pencil crayon.
Ah,
And I decided to do, instead of just making I did do a scribble with pencil crayon. I'm actually doing a little bit of coloring. It's hard to see. Let's see, I'm coloring. Just sort of where that pink is there. Just right at the top, which is not necessarily a great place to color, but I'll add some more in other places. Something like picking out a pencil crayon that you hardly ever use because it's not the color you would normally use, and just making it part of your work, even though I don't generally put pink in my art. It's a hard color for me to deal with. Which is really strange because when I was a little girl, I loved pink. I hated orange. And now most of my paintings are orange. I don't know where that came from. Okay, how are you guys doing on your number 3?
I think I'm keeping up with the Joneses.
Are you? That's good. Okay, I'm going to cut these things off.
I kind of like it, except the collage piece looks to me, because it's white paper,
Mhm.
And so I'm wondering if it's okay if I just take like do a wash over it, a paint
I would.
wash.
Yep. Sometimes, you know, like especially when you're doing like a collage piece and stuff like that, just to have the collage sitting on top
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily always work with the painting, right? And
right.
like even for these ones, it looks like I just stuck them on top. And if you paint over them, then they become more of the painting instead of just something you stuck on a painting. Does that make sense?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to cheat.
No, you're not cheating because remember, this is just the start. This is just the start of the direction that we're going, right? And then even, you know, as we go tonight, you're gonna have the week to sort of work on these and change them if you want, update them so that they're ready for next week so we can frame one of them. Okay.
I wasn't expecting homework.
Well, if you get it all done tonight, then you don't have homework. Like, you know, like I'm really actually kind of liking this one that I have here right now at this point. It's sort of coming together for me. I like sort of the lights and the darks that are happening. And yes, I need to do something over this collage a little bit, but that's okay.
2 and 4 are okay, but one is no more and 3 is eh.
Well, we're not done this one either. So I'm going to set it aside and see what we can do on number 4. Oh yeah, threw it down here. My number 4 is still pretty wet. But I also had a collage item on this one too.
More Mod Podge, huh?
More Mod Podge. But I'm going to switch my collage item. I'm going to go find my collage stuff.
Are we going to use these stampy things? I made styrofoam stamps.
Oh, we can use the styrofoam stampy. I've got one. So is it the styrofoam that we did before with the stamps?
Well, same idea, but I mean, I threw those ones away because they were too nasty and I couldn't clean them. I made new ones
Okay.
for tonight.
One of the other things that I like to use for styrofoam stamps, this is one of mine. It's that thick insulation, the styrofoam insulation that people use.
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah.
houses. That stuff makes really nice because I can make 2 stamps out of it. And the other thing that I've been using, and I don't know, this is a carved piece. It's almost like lino, but it's baseboard. It's Rubber Cove baseboard.
Oh,
Are we doing another commercial collage on 4?
On 4, it just says collage, one item. It doesn't matter whether it's commercial or whatever you want. So I brought all my collage stuff over. I brought some collage stuff over. You know what I'm gonna do?
no, the lace does not stick.
It's not sticking.
I'm having a really hard time getting it to stick.
Hmm.
I have put so much gel medium on it. But I'll probably have to go over it and do coats and coats of it, I'm thinking.
I'm gonna spend an hour cleaning up tonight.
You're gonna have to spend an hour cleaning up.
You bet.
That's all right. Okay. So I'm adding a collage item to this. You see, now my number 4, I'm not liking it at all. I don't like it at all. So I'm just gonna like add stuff to it. And the other thing you can do is like, even when, like I'm just putting this piece of collage on here. And I realize that my paint is still a little bit wet. And so I can even grab, you know, some of that paint and paint it over. I just pulled it over the collage a little bit, the collage piece. So now it's actually, you know, embedded in there a little bit. I still don't like it. That's okay. We just keep doing things until we like what we have, right? Or it just becomes the next collage piece or piece of collage. It's the collage is becoming more painted because this paint is quite a bit wetter. All right. Okay, I added two collage pieces, or two, I guess 3 pieces total. I added 2 circles and a found object to mine. Not really liking this one. It's just too busy. There's too much going on. I'm probably gonna have to
That's what mine always look like.
so yeah, this one I'm really struggling with. It's not doing what I want it to do. The other thing I wanted to do on it is a pencil mark, but I don't think my pencil is going to work on it because it's so wet. I don't think you're going to see it anyway because there's just so much going on. So I'm going to set this one aside, and you can choose one of the other ones. And I want you to do something very different for it. I don't know if I want to do it on this one. Yeah, I'm going to do it on this one.
Which one are we going back to now?
So I went back to number 3 because that's the one I'm actually most happy with.
Which one are you looking at?
Alright.
What?
So what are we doing next?
So grab,
You've randomly pointed it.
the mat boards are up against the thing.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay, just a green one?
More Mod Podge?
So this is what I want to do with this one. Is I'm going to cut it.
No,
Not cut it up, just cut it. I have one here.
no.
This is what, so what I want you to do is I want you to pierce it somehow. Either make a cut in it, or I have like a hole punch, but you would only be able to do the edge of the hole punch. So I have a knife here and I'm going to cut this. I'm going to show you what I want to do with it. So I'm just going to cut a line here. Okay, I just cut sort of like a V, not really a V, a shape. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it right off.
Just cut one window out somewhere?
I'm cutting a window.
I do windows all the time.
Well, there you go.
Are we just, so you want us to do one window cut or something like
Yeah.
that?
Now, the problem that I'm having with this is that you can see my white edges of the paper, which I don't like. And I didn't cut as clean as I wanted to because I've got some little fuzzy corners here. So I'm just going to fix those, get them out of there. And then I'm going to take my green. I just have a little brush. I'm going to grab my green, which is my dominant color in that area. I'm just going to color those edges so that that white edge of the paper you don't see. If I can get in there. All right, so I've cut a hole in it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take something to back it with. And I'm just grabbing a piece of my commercial paper. And I'm going to put it in there. So I'm basically going to, and I'm going to sort of Mod Podge it or attach it to the back of my piece. So now I have like a piercing. Of course, now I got paint on it too.
You have the anti-collage.
Yeah, it's the reverse collage, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. Of course, I got paint on this piece of paper, so maybe I have to get a different one.
I think I'll have to do that one after because I got mine all taped down.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I did a series of these where I did like piercings and stuff like that on the paper. And then in some instances, what I did is I attached the new paper with a staple, very strategically placed so that the staple also became a part of the artwork. It was kind of neat to do. But it just sort of shows like it's just a different way of putting things together or, you know. And then I'm gonna just paint on it a bit.
It was after 8.
I know it's after 8. We're
Okay.
going a little bit late tonight because we're doing 4 paintings. That's why.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. So I don't know if you want to take, you know, try doing that to another one of them where you pierce it or something. I wish I had a hole punch that was bigger Cause like, I don't want to really do a hole punch in the middle or on the edge. I think you can get punches that do that. I just don't
Oh,
have.
we were
them.
done with Mod Podge.
Anyway, and I think we've done everything we need to do on these, other than if you wanted to add like your little bit of crayon or pencil crayon to them, which I think we've done in most cases. So how are you guys at? Where are you guys at?
Well, I think I'm at a place where I'm going to have to call it for tonight because I still have to go pick up groceries.
Oh,
tonight.
okay. Well, and I'm sort of at the point where I've sort of done everything that we needed to do to these 4 pieces of paper. And I think of the 4, I have 3 that are fairly successful. I have 1 I hate. So I'm
Mm.
gonna switch back to,
I have 2 good ones.
you have 2 good ones. That's good. I'm gonna, oh boy.
Well, I hate them all, but I'm gonna work on them some more.
Oh, no.
Oh,
See if I can, improve them somehow.
okay, I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen so I can see what you guys have done, okay?
Okay, I took the spotlight off. the spotlight.
Where's the spotlight?
It's, if you go to the right-hand side,
View?
yeah, oh, no, here, let me draw it for a second.
Oh.
It's,
You just want to do gallery, right?
I have to go up here.
Okay, if I'm gonna show you what I did, I'm gonna have to tip my computer over.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do it. I don't know if this is gonna work.
Oh, look
Like-
at all the colors.
Oh,
Can you see that? I don't know
Yeah.
if you can see it.
Oh, but it looks really cool.
cool.
Yeah, I
That's,
like it.
that's the best view I can give you.
That's all right.
Yeah, because it's all, oh, hey, no, I know. Hang on. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Because I have it taped to my cutting mat. So I can just lift up my cutting mat.
Oh, you have
Oh,
all 4
very
of them
nice.
on there.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great. What a great idea.
Go ahead and talk again, Elizabeth. Sorry.
yeah, okay, so here they all are. This is number 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Very
I
nice.
like that. All right, Spencer, let's see the ones that you've worked on.
All right, here's number 2.
Ooh.
Oh, I like it.
I got 2 collages in my anti-collage. So that's number 2. And then here's number 4. I collaged a notan. I cut up a notan and I collaged a notan into it.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
fabulous.
So that's number 4.
That's awesome.
So that's all I have.
And 1 and
Let me
3 we're
see
not
your
talking
brown
about.
one. I want to see your brown one.
This is number 3,
Talk again.
brownish,
Talking so I can see it.
brownish.
You know,
It's
I
really
think it
nice.
has a lot of potential.
Brownish. Yeah.
Oh, I
So
like
Yeah,
it.
it's
And then-
like what you've got is like background, and then you need to work
and
into the
number 1,
surface of
the
it,
one
I
that I
think.
cannibalized looked like that. That was my junk on 1. So, but
Well,
3
you know,
and-
I think you have 3 very successful starts there.
Did you start recording?
No. Oh. No, I think you started recording, didn't you?
we went through the recording process.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
We're
It
old.
made-
We're starting to forget things.
It made me accept that I was going to be on camera.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. So you have, I guess, you can work on your pieces this week and see how they turn out. I've got 3 that I'm happy with so far. And 1 that I'm not.
Get that off my list.
And we'll see what happens next week. So next week, what I'm going to do is I want to show you how sort of how I do presentation on my pieces of artwork and how I frame them. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to put it into a simple, probably 11 by 14 frame with a 8 by 10 mat. Okay. And so I'll probably bring one in from work and just show you how to do it very simply. So I'm not going to be cutting mats or anything. I'm just going to do it. So if you want to do it at the same time as me, you could go to a place where you could get a 11 by 14 mat frame that has a 8 by 10 mat in it. And you could work along with me and I'll show you how to tape it and how to frame it.
Okay, so we need to, if we're gonna do one of these, we need to have it mounted to a board. Is that,
I can show you how to mount it to the board.
okay? Well,
Okay.
probably I'll just be watching then.
Okay. Yeah, the mounting is just, I'm going to show you how I do a tape mount when I'm working and how it comes together in a frame for my clients. Okay.
Okay, because mine are all really bumpy. Because I just use gessoed paper, so they're not flat.
Well, mine aren't perfectly flat either, but you know, well, it'll flatten a little bit with the mat, but I also tell my clients that, you know, if you're getting a piece of artwork and it's a little bit warbly, it's probably because it's a real piece of artwork. And, you know, I have people come in and they go, oh, this is a beautiful watercolor. And I'm like, it's not a watercolor. Sorry, it's a print. And then I have other people come in and it's a watercolor and they want me to make it super flat. And I'm like, I can't do that. There's no way to make it super flat unless you
Break it.
dry mount it or something. And then you're risking damaging the piece of artwork. So I just say, you know, having those warbles in your paint, in your paper is part of the beauty of original art. So, but we'll see. All right. And I'll show you how I do my framing. I know, Elizabeth, you do a lot of framing yourself, right?
I do, yeah.
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 So we'll just,
But
I'll-
I've never framed anything with a mat. I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know how to frame paper unless I mount it to a hardboard and stick it in a frame.
okay. I'm going to show you how to just do a simple tape mount for something under glass and then it'll
Okay.
be good. So, all right. Thanks guys for sharing with me today and playing with me and us goofing around with paint.
Just hanging out.
Yep. And I'll see you
Elizabeth,
next
your
week.
idea was a very messy one.
It was a great messy idea. We love it.
It was messy, yes. I have to go see how much paint I got underneath my smock.
Exactly. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a good night.
All
I'll
right.
see you
Thanks,
next
Karen.
week. Okay.
Good night. Thanks, Karen.
All right. Bye-bye.
Stop this.
Bye.